All right. Today is April 21st, 2024. Coming at you for our live stream. We're going to talk about Walking Dead Universe, little Dead City filming. Daryl, Dixon is his next show. And that's what we're going to talk about. Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Watching Fallout on Amazon. Pretty good. Never played the video games, and it's still a great show. So what are you guys watching? Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Are you anything you recommend? A couple of different shows people recommended on the channel, so it's always welcome to that. And I always like to talk to people that, give this a try, give that a try. Always good to see what people are out there watching, and overall, it's kind of slow news on the Walking Dead Universe front, so I'm thinking I might do a couple more live streams and then take a break or something. But like I said, I'll always let you know. So I may do one next week, and then maybe take a little break. But again, I'll let you know in the YouTube posts and everything there too as well. But thank you for being here this Sunday, April 21st, 2024. Like I said before, there's not much to talk about in the world of Walking Dead news besides Dead City is filming. And there's not much about filming. And we see Negan, we see Maggie, we see the Croat, we see Croat's car, we see different people there. We see just putting things together, Armstrong and there, but no one else has shown up yet. I would assume they would be hide it if Dwight or Sherry showed up, or this character, that character, even though there is a photo going around of Fear the Walking Dead Season 8 props, I believe. And then there's another lady carrying baseball bats. So there's a lot of people thinking a lot of different speculation, but that could mean something. It can mean nothing, but we'll have to see what happens with Negan and Maggie going forward. There's also been talk about Maggie's son, Herschel, playing a villain or like a darker character. And I'm like, I don't care about that guy. Herschel whatever is just nonsense. I don't care about that character one bit. And if he's a focal point of it, it's really going to be stupid in my opinion. But we'll have to see how it plays out. There's been thoughts about the Daryl show. Then it actually did really well, and I thought it was good. Going in, sometimes it can be a little bit of, different. So we'll have to see ultimately when it airs, later. I'm not sure when the Maggie and Negan show, Dead City Season 2, was going to air, because it'll probably be next year, I'm guessing, because they're filming now. So 6 episodes, filming takes a couple months, post-production, editing, sounds, everything else under the sun. That takes time. I think they would want to do it right. But they could do it for an October, November release if they're going to do that. But I would assume it's going to be next year. As for the Daryl show, we just don't know for Season 2 when it's going to be on TV, because we just don't know anything just yet besides the sneak peek clip of Carol going to where Daryl was, and then Daryl shooting up the vehicle that whatever the lady's name is, killing everybody, probably but her. So we'll have to see what happens in those 6 episodes. It's one of those things where I'm excited to see what happens there. I just don't know when it's going to air. They say the summer of this year, but that remains June, July, or August. We'll have to see. But I would assume probably June or July. It depends on how they want to stretch it out. But how's everybody doing? Hopefully you're safe and sound and doing well this Sunday, April 21st. So we're watching Fallout, which is a good show. It's drawing me in. Every episode, they add something, answer something, but add something. Answer, add. And they greenlit a Season 2 of it on Amazon because, streaming services need to have content. They need to have stuff for their streaming services. Now, Amazon can kind of get away with it because you could get the goods and services or whatever if they had the music. If you like any of the shows or movies that are on there, great. But you're probably getting it for same-day shipping, 2-day shipping, whatever with Amazon Prime. Good stuff there. But also shows like Reacher, Fallout, and everything else that was there on Amazon. And they're really branching out. One of the biggest things I remember they were talking about was Lord of the Rings. And I could care less about that. I'm not going to watch any of that crap on Amazon. But for Reacher, Fallout, whatever else comes out next, be definitely checking it out too. Pretty cool about X-Men 97. Every week is a new episode, and it's awesome. Like, it just takes me back to the previous, series in the 90s, and it's just cool to see. Hopefully you guys are checking that out as too. I watched a movie yesterday called Snack Shack, and it's a 1991 in Nebraska story of these two teenagers that they're renting a snack shack by a pool for the summer, and it's just one of those crazy stories that it's fictional, obviously, but it's just one of those things where it's entertaining. It's one of those movies that, just watch it and move along. Other than that, I don't know. What else? What are you guys watching? What are you guys enjoying? What do you recommend? So I'm doing some more stuff around the house, outside. It's April, so June 1st is hurricane season. So being here in I like the idea of getting my house ready with the tree trimming and all the crap around the house, and getting ready as much as we can for hurricane season. That's June 1st to December 1st. Tim, Q&A, have you watched the Roadhouse? So I watched Roadhouse on Amazon. I thought it was pretty good. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job. I think Conor McGregor was himself, so wasn't really acting too hard, and it was okay. Like, I don't know. I haven't watched the first one in a long time, but they had, differences, obviously, as it being, a different kind of story, but a similar kind of story. It's the same but different but the same. So, Christy, they have a Lord of the Rings, I believe, series on Amazon, right? Do they have Lord of the Rings series? I don't know. Either way, I'm not watching it, so I don't care. Either way, it doesn't make any sense to check it out because it looks like nonsense to me. I stopped watching those movies after the original trilogy, and then they got like stuff. It just wasn't for me. I am excited for the House of the Dragon season 2. That looks amazing. House of the Dragon looks really good. There was news about the Jon Snow series that's been shelved or taken off the table, and they couldn't have a story that makes sense, and they couldn't come to the writers and this, and so that's on hold, or it's not being made right now, but it's on hold for sure. So there is a series on Amazon, but again, it's just not for me, so I'm not really going to be checking that out for myself, even though I do like the original movies with Frodo and all those. I don't know. I can't keep track. It's like so crazy with all these different stories and shows and trilogies and series and just all this crap. Like, you got to keep track of like all these shows and characters and plots and points in there. And it's like, I got my own stuff to worry about on there as well too. Isaiah, I've enjoyed Dark Winds so far. Can't wait for season 3. Me too. Season 3. They just added. What's her name? June, the actress who plays June, Jenna Elfman, for season 3 of Dark Winds, which is good. Dark Winds is good. It's a good show on AMC. I'm excited to see what happens with that too. So I know, just anytime we'll see actors from the Walking Dead universe on other shows, it's always cool. Other movies, other stuff, they'll always be like Norman Reedus will always be Daryl, and Andy Lincoln will always be Rick, and then I will always be, Michonne or Okoye for some people. And, it's just kind of cool when you see them branching out. And little fun fact for you, I believe, I've read and saw on IMDb, that Professor X on X-Men 97 is voiced by Ross Marquand, who played Aaron on The Walking Dead. I believe that's a little fun fact for you, if it's true, obviously. But, so other than that, guys, hopefully you're doing well. I am personally ready to get out of April. I want to get into May. A lot of good stuff coming up for my wife and I, our anniversary, and a little vacation, a little this, a little that. So hurry up, May. Let's get out of April. It's April 21st right now, and we got a week and a half or so, and then we'll be into May, and then we have Memorial Day and everything. Because I grew up in New Jersey, for those who don't know, and that was a big part of the summer was Memorial Day to Labor Day is when the shore opens. And so that's kind of the best time to go down the shore and whatever shore point you go to, Cape May, Wildwood, Ocean City, Sea Isle, Seaside, whatever. It's just cool to go down there and do some stuff. And hopefully you guys have vacations coming up over the summer. I wonder if people still go to Sonoy, if some people still go to check out the filming sites or anything there too. The Walking Dead to me feels like it's on life support, like it's kind of, because it feels like it's ended now twice for me. The main show ended, that was an ending. And then you have the Rick and Michonne show. That definitely feels like an ending. And it just feels like they're dragging it out. Daryl and Carol, got to see what happens there. Got to find out because they're two beloved characters. And the Negan and Maggie show just seems like it's, I don't know, like, to me, Negan was the biggest pivot and change in the show, and they didn't know how to bring Negan in with our characters. It's definitely something that I like Negan now, and I like him helping out the group and doing all these things, but it really hurt the show, the dynamic in season 7. So I don't know if he can really carry his own show. I know a lot of people who don't even watch the Negan show, and I know Dead City, but I know some people who didn't like the Daryl show. I was talking with a patient the other day, and I was asking him about the ones who live and if he liked it, and he's like, yeah, this and that, blah 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 blah. He didn't like the Daryl show, and he didn't like this, and I actually like the Daryl show, and I like Norman Reedus, and I like kind of the story, but what are we doing there? What's the end game for that? And there's been so much of a debate. We talked about it last live stream, where Norman Reedus said he's going to filming in Spain, and then they're going to potentially, is what people think, and the speculation is that Jeffrey Grimes is going to show up and he's going to be this, because there's a line of dialogue where someone talks about Rick's brother, if it's Lori, if it's Rick, if it's that, and I'm like, I don't care, even if it says it. That you think they planned for anything like that? They didn't even plan for that in the comic. It's a one-off. Just like here's Negan, but Negan is not a huge character. I mean, Negan is a huge character, and Jeff Grimes is not a huge character. So it just, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's just forced in another thing, in my opinion. Isaiah says, wow, your anniversary is in May. Mine as well. I'll be celebrating 26 years on May 4th. Well, congratulations. That's also Kentucky Derby Day is May 4th this year. So, but ultimately, the Walking Dead universe is the commonality for us, the show that binds us and connects us. But ultimately there's other stuff out there, there's other shows and entertainment and this, and that's kind of what eventually I want to get back into, making videos that are rewarding, motivating, inspiring, and everything educational that people can learn from. And I'm kind of, I have a lot of things going on right now, so eventually down the road I want to make more videos about some different shows that we're watching, and shows and motivations and exercises and nutrition and everything too, because ultimately at the end of the day, guys, we got to take care of ourselves, mind, body, and soul. And a lot of stuff beats us down and pushes us down, but we can get through it. No matter what comes our way, we can handle it. Some of it's small inconveniences, some of it's big, like the other day I woke up, I got Milo. I got out of my room, and Milo there left a big present of, throw up for me. So I had to wake up, clean up Milo's throw up, and then had to start my day doing that, just how I wanted to start it, right? Which is not a big major thing, but it's annoying. And then I had to go to work and deal with all the traffic and deal with work stuff and deal with all the chaos that's there, and then come home and just try to relax, and then wake up and rinse and repeat all day, Monday through Friday. But what are we doing it for? What am I doing the job for? To hopefully make an impact and get people better. As a physical therapist, it's not just about physical, getting stronger, better endurance. That's definitely a part of it, but it's also education and motivation for people. Sometimes they need to be told and helped and progressed and improved and encouraged. And that's part of life too, And so I try to do that with my patients, and I try to do that in life. But after a while, you can only help people so much. I love the tale of, or the saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I can only make people do so much. That's just how it goes. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if people want to get better, they could listen or not and be a part of the team, part of a group, part of a power of two, because I don't think of it as like I'm barking out orders to them or on YouTube either, but working together is always the best way, no matter what you're doing in life. If you want to go far, go alone. Or so if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others, they say too. And so it's definitely something that working together is great, but that comes with time, knowledge, experience. And people have more knowledge and experience than me, so I always are ready for that just education. I've always liked people to learn from. I always like that people, it's a give and take. It's like that give a penny, leave a penny. I don't even know if they do that anymore. But, that's kind of what life is and karma is, and helping others, and people help you and repay and help and, whatever. But it's just something that we have to work together, and hopefully we can as a society, as a group, as people. But I don't know if we can. Nowadays, it's all about getting your own stuff on there as well. And, when we're watching Fallout now as my new dystopian end of time, end of days thing, you can kind of see that the fall of society affects people in different ways. But there are people that are working together, hopefully, and that's groups working together is, very powerful. Strength in numbers, right? So there's been a lot of talk of Negan being old school Negan, and Negan being just back to his old ways. And so we'll have to see if he's going to recruit people. And Edith Joy. So Carol says, hey, Brad, give a shout out to my new grandchild, Edith Joy, named after my mom, who's gone but not forgotten. Born April 12th, 8 pounds, 4 ounces, first girl grandchild. So I would assume like Carol talks about the first girl grandchild. And so I'm not a parent, and I'm not a grandparent. I'm not anything. But, it's always funny because my mom is a parent, and now she's a grandparent. And so all she talks about is my brother's 2 daughters. And they're just like, it's always like the babies, the grandbabies, this, that, they do this, they do that. And it's so funny because she's so proud of them. And I hope that she was, I hope that she would be proud of me as well too, But, grandchildren, I wonder what happens when someone becomes a parent and then they become a grandparent. Like they're softer, they're nicer, they're less, I guess they're at a better place in their life too. Like when you're a parent, it's got to be difficult to take care of yourself and your house and your spouse and now your children or your child and your pets and everything. It's like all these different things coming at you, And I can only imagine what it's like. But I mean, I have 2 cats, so they're like our children. But it's tenfold when you have an actual baby. But it's still similar where you have to worry about all this extra stuff. And I guess when you become a grandparent, that should hopefully be, 20, 25 years later, 30 years later, I don't know. So like you should be at a better place 30 years after you had your own children, And Carol says it's a lot more fun. You can send them home. So that's true, right? Like if you're babysitting and you're taking care of a child, they come and you take care of them and you watch movies or you play games or you take care of them or you play and whatever, and you feed them, and then probably got to change some diapers or whatever. But then you give them back to mom and dad, and then you're like, good, I have a break. It's always nice to have a break, right? It's always nice to have a rest. It's always nice to have downtime for yourself. When even on the best vacation, it's always good to go home and rest. It's always good to have that weekend. It's always good to have that time off or that vacations. Always something to look forward to. And same kind of thing here. So, I'm getting ideas for my next book series. And I want to get more concrete stuff together before I start it, release it, talk about it. But I'm definitely working on something because I feel like there's still more story to tell. The Fight for Us. So it starts with, in 100 days. That's 3 books. And then Fight for Us is 20 books. And then the next book series that I want to talk about some things that to further explain things. There'll be a time jump or time jumps. There's going to be some stuff going on that's, interesting for it. But, it's always got to be tough about when you start something. And if you care about it, like a book series or piece of art, whatever it is, to like truly stop it, truly end it, But I always thought about the ending point for Fight for Us. And I think about the ending point for the entire series. Like Robert Kirkman thought he started The Walking Dead because he wanted to have the zombie apocalypse story that never ended. And so he had a comic where the zombie apocalypse started, then what? Right? And I like that. You have to rebuild society. You have to start with this. You got to do that. You got to do all these things. And so the big thing is, what do you do after it? How do you survive? What do you do? Life is all about a test. Life, to me, I see it as competition and a test. Learning, growing, achieving, succeeding, failing, ups and downs, good, bad, positive, negative, all about those things. And that would just be another addition to life in a zombie apocalypse. It's not going to be easy, for sure. So, it's different because you don't have to worry about zombies, but every day you wake up. What do you wake up? You don't have to worry about your safety, hopefully, but in a regular everyday life, you have to wake up, go to your job, or go to school, or go to this, or to that, go part-time, full-time, you volunteer, go to the gym, work out, go for a walk, have breakfast, have your coffee, watch the news, whatever it is. And, I don't know, I just went on a little tangent there, but a little rant. But, I'm a physical therapist in Florida, so I see a lot of patients that are retired, and they've been retired, or they're going to retire and everything there. And I've always talked to people because I want to know what it's like. When I started as a therapist, I was in my 20s. And now, this summer will be 15 years later that I've been a physical therapist. And I get to meet a lot of different people. And that's one of the best things about my job because I enjoy seeing what's going on with them, getting them better, problem solving, everything there too. And it's awesome because I'm thinking about it as, what is this person lived, their life experiences. You can pass that down, pass that along. And I think that's truly about life too as well, You never stop learning. From the day you're born to the day you die, never stop learning. Grow in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully not in weight-wise. Oh, sorry, that's a joke. But hopefully, you're going to have those tools to problem solve, do things, have moments of joy and pleasure, and have fun with it. Take care of yourself, make people. And I was thinking about it too, that it's never too late. I've kind of felt in my 40 plus years of existence here that I've always been late to something. Not like actually physically late, because I don't like to be physically late, but late to whatever it was. I've never been on the ground floor, and it's really hard to be on the ground floor of investing, a company, a business, anything. But I got into it later, like the internet and everything there, and investing now. But it's better late than never. And I was thinking about that recently, is like, hopefully you and your loved ones and your friends and your family, whoever that means something to you, knows that they're special in your life, and they feel that way, and they know that. And maybe you have to tell them or show them, or maybe you have to show you and tell you. But, it's one of those things where when you get older, you're running out of time, but there's always 24 hours in a day. So we do things over and over and over again every day, and we go through it, and then it's the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. And next thing you know, you're some age, and hopefully your friends and family are around and you can still talk to them. But it's never too late to tell them that you love them and care about them, and they're meaningful and impactful in your life. Because I know, talking with patients and talking with things, and my dad, I'm like, I don't want my dad to look back in life and be like, I wish I did this, or I wish I did that. And of course, like, I could look back now, I wish I invested in Apple, or I wish I invested in this, or I wish I bet this, or I wish I bet this game on the Super Bowl. But like, at the time, you don't know. Looking back, hindsight's always 20/20. It's always clear now when you're looking back. But would you do the same things you would do if you had to do it again? If you were transported back in time and you don't know the outcomes, would you do the same things? Probably not for certain things, but other than that, it makes you who you are. And that's part of life too. And, in a fictional, dystopian, apocalyptic world, you got to make tough choices. I love the idea of writing in stories that good people have to do bad things, bad people do good things, and vice versa. If it's an anti-hero or whatever you want to talk about, you do things that not all good, not all bad. And that's how I try to picture with Ryan, the main character of Fight For Us, that he's not all good, not all bad. Some things you want to do good things and help people, but in this world, people will take your kindness and use it against you. You try to help people, and they use it against you too. So this person writes, I wanted to drop out of college and work at this little startup called Yahoo, but I didn't have the money to support myself, and my parents said they wouldn't. Is that true? Is that a real thing? Yeah, and HFG says, without knowing the outcomes, I'd like to do exact the same thing. So, it's one of those things where hopefully you learn from your mistakes or experiences. There doesn't have to be a mistake. It could just be an experience, So, yeah. And that's, man, I can only imagine how that feels if that was, like, true, where you're like, I was going to work for this company. Or if I was going to be going to this, like, imagine the people that were going to be at Yahoo or Facebook or Google or Amazon or whatever, Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that. That's crazy. Hello. So, yeah, I mean, I know what I was going to tell you guys, too. So if you have HBO Max, I believe the Iron Claw, it's a wrestling movie, is going to be on Max May 10th, I believe is what it is. So definitely check it out. And again, you don't have to be a wrestling fan to enjoy the movie, but if you are a wrestling fan and if you know anything about the Von Erich family, definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. It's a good movie. It's worth watching for sure. But other than that, I don't know what else is coming out soon. Anything. I'm excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. I watched the first Deadpool, was on one of the HBOs this a couple of days ago, yesterday or 2 days ago. And it's still good. The first one's still good. And it's funny because, Deadpool it just works. It just work for sure. Works for sure. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, just reading some of the chat there. Yeah. So Isaiah, you definitely want to watch the Iron Claw movie. Iron Claw is a movie if you grew up watching the Von Erichs, especially like Carrie Von Erich, and some interesting stories on there too. Definitely check it out. But other than that, guys, I'm doing okay. I have not seen Ghostbusters. I've not seen the latest Ghostbusters, even though I want to. It's been busy. So for those who don't know, I'm a physical therapist. I'm a clinic director of an outpatient clinic in Florida. And, it's 40 hours a week. And it's crazy, managing a clinic and being the head therapist and doing everything with it. And we're going to be possibly moving to another clinic later this year, And so that there's all these other things that are going forward with it. And actually, so the other thing maybe some of you guys don't know is that I have Crohn's disease, and I had to switch over my Humira. So I took my first injection Friday of Hyramaz. So it's the generic or biosimilar of Humira. And it's a different pen. They don't give you alcohol wipes in the box. Like, it's just so, it's a generic. So anytime you buy, like, let's just say Benadryl, they have a nice packaging. It's easy to open. The things are there too. And then you buy the store brand. It's not, the packaging is harder to open. It's just different. It's the same but different. And the same thing. So I took it a couple of days ago, and we'll have to see if it holds on strong for me. But yeah, because my insurance was not going to let me keep taking Humira because AbbVie lost the rights to it or something. I think it went. The generics were able to be made. The patent, they lost the patent on it. And so we'll have to see, Lindsay asks, any side effects? I once had an anaphylactic reaction to a new biologic. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Lindsay. So I'm guessing you stopped taking that for sure, because if that's the same response, it would probably keep happening. But like, I took it Friday and I'm doing okay. I'm having other symptoms that I kind of had before taking the shot. So I'm doing okay. I just have some other stuff and going on with my body and my back and my shoulders and my elbow and stuff. But so far, so good. Nothing crazy. But I had the injection pen was like different. Like, it was just, you could see it wasn't the same. But yeah, so I just started that. So I hopefully it'll be all right. Because if insurance ain't gonna pay for something, then I can't do it. That comes down to it as well. There's a big point that I always bring up in the Walking Dead universe, that why are there so many walkers left in the Walking Dead universe, right? So if we break down what we know about the Walking Dead walkers, right, which are fictional, the zombies and empties and biters and whatever else the people have called them, is the person, someone dies and they come back to life or reanimate or whatever as a zombie. And everyone's infected, so everyone's going to become a zombie once they die. So in 2010 is when the show started and everything kind of started, and whatever started around there, I'm guessing, right? So let's say there's 8 billion people on the planet. And for some reason, everybody's infected all of a sudden. They don't explain why. Kirkman doesn't care why, and everything's there to why. But people are infected. They come back. They bite other people. It's not like the bite infects them. It kills them because of the bacteria. You die from the infection. And I guess they don't have antibiotics or antivirals or whatever, and then they die because of that. It's not from the bite that you actually get infected. So I would assume that majority of the people would die pretty quickly in a zombie apocalypse, right? So say if there's 8 billion people, let's go with 7 billion die right away. So there's 1 billion people in the world. Not the United States, not this, but all over the world, right? So we know that the zombies take forever to break down, and there's this and there's that. But, if they got wounded, the blood wouldn't keep working. They would have necrotic tissue. They would start to break their limbs. Their bones would dry out and rot and be broken and everything. They would just eventually die, decay, and break down. So why are there so many zombies still around walking around so many years later? 10, 12, 15 years later. And there would still be zombies, of course, but not nearly as much, in my opinion. But they were just kind of thrown in for, filler. Like, look at the Rick and Michonne show, right? Like, Rick and Michonne, they're not worried about the zombies. They're not worried about people. They're not worried about anything. They can handle anything that comes their way. Those 3 people that are in the woods that they came around, I don't know what they were doing in the woods all this time. They couldn't have found a campground or a cabin or a hotel or something. Like, I don't know what they were doing, like where they came from. They're just in the middle of the woods doing nothing. And then there was a trap, and there was walkers, and they had this stuff on their head from the Yosemite National Park with the calcification and whatever. And then they get inside the room, building. Then the walkers are in there. Like, they bite, they get killed. They reanimate, come back, bite Jadis, and then they're done. And then Jadis goes too, and then Rick put Jadis down so she wasn't going to be a walker. But it's just like, what are you doing with that? Why are there so many things left? Like, in the city, too, like in Dead City, if more and more people are not going to the city, you wouldn't have a constant supply of walkers. And then the Croats using them for fuel. And so I don't know how many people are in New York City. I don't know how many people are supposed to be in New York City. I don't know how many people survived and did all that stuff. But people may go into the city from time to time for refuge there. But they destroyed the bridge, so they ain't driving. There's only so many boats or so many of that stuff too. I don't know how they would be around for so long. But what's the end game for it, right? Like, I don't feel like the Walking Dead universe is going to be set in a way that is going to end like, okay, that's the ending. Because Rick and Michonne are already back home, whether it's Alexandria or the Commonwealth or wherever, I don't know. It wasn't clear to me where they actually ended up, but they're back home with Judith and RJ. So they're safe. Alexandria is safe. Commonwealth is safe. I don't know if we're ever going to see Hilltop again, like, because the bricks are where Maggie is for some reason. Like, there's just so many little things that are like, she was supposed to run Hilltop and then she left, so who's running Hilltop? And whatever. I don't know. But it's just one of those things where we have to roll with it, see how it goes, and if it makes sense. And, it's what it is. But I'm still going to watch the Daryl show and Dead City and whatever they do on there. But they got to wrap it up and finish it at some point, right? And now that the CRM is good people now, they got rid of Major General Beale in the military, and now they're helping with aid and spreading it around and doing that. Well, they could easily have a new group that comes in. Like the Reapers came in, that was just for the show. That was a lot of build up and a lot of hype and a lot of stuff in the trailers, and then gone. They gone. But I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what the plan is for Rick and Michonne to come back around or stay around. I think because like Norman Reedus is an old man, and I know he's got a stunt double and all this stuff too, but I don't know how much longer he wants to do it. And he's really filming all of his stuff in Europe right now, so I'm guessing that his fiance or wife or whatever, if they're married or whatever they are, I know they're living there in Europe, I guess, I would assume, right? So is he just going to keep filming in Europe? Is he never going to come home to find Rick and Michonne? Is that who Carol was talking about on the radio? There's still stuff that's out there that's left to be answered. But and then at some other point, it's like, what are we doing this for? What's this show doing? Where are we going with this? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be. And now I know there's been talk because of Robert Kirkman's show Invincible on Amazon. I've not watched any of it, but it's supposedly doing well. And that's a comic. And so Invincible is made Robert Kirkman find, hopefully, that he can do an animated series of The Walking Dead. but he has to get the rights back from AMC to do that. So I guess he sold the rights to AMC for that. But if it's animated, do they own all parts of it now? Like, because the comic is the comic, the shows are the shows, the spinoff is the spinoff. Is the animated series the animated series? Like, does AMC own the rights to that? I mean, I don't care either way, and I don't need to see that, but I would watch. I would check it out for sure, to check out the Walking Dead animated stuff. And I don't know. I don't know what the future of that holds. There's just a lot of up in the air things. And, you know, we're in April now. Hopefully we'll get a date for the Daryl Dixon show season 2. Hopefully we'll get some news at Comic-Con. Hopefully we'll get any news about other spin-offs, other shows on that show. Because last Comic-Con, was it last Comic-Con? I don't know now. I can't keep track of it. But like The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, was announced at Comic-Con. Well, I don't think it was The Ones Who Live, but it was them talking about it. So ever since it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, Comic-Con was a major presence for The Walking Dead and AMC. And I don't know if they're going to keep doing that or if it's going to be something there too. Like, because you could have a little panel, but do we really need Gimple to go there and not tell us anything? Do we need any of the showrunners to go there and talk about things? Will any of the cast go there? Will they even keep doing Comic-Con? Like, I don't even know what the future holds for San Diego Comic-Con. But it is probably still a way that, you know, The Walking Dead isn't Comic-Con, but it was huge for them. That was some of the biggest stuff there. And I'm guessing, you know, Deadpool, Wolverine will be there and all this stuff will be there and stuff there because that comes around that time. And I just want to know what the future holds a little bit. So I would love for Gimple to actually give us information about the future of the Walking Dead franchise and universe. Because right now it's just a lot of speculation. Like, remember all those people, and I'm sure there's tons of stupid videos out there, like, Morgan's going to be in the show, and he wasn't there. And people watched the videos, supposedly, and there was nothing there to it. So, you know, and there'll still be people peddling all this information about YouTube and, you know, Walking Dead on YouTube and whatever. And it's just like laughable because, like, what are you posting, man? We don't know any of this information. You know, I don't know any information about From. I don't know any information about The Last of Us besides they have castings of major characters that's going to be there. So that's going to be some pretty big stuff. So when From comes back, when Last of Us 2 or Last of Us comes back for season 2, when we have, you know, any other House of the Dragon, Daryl show, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. I have not watched Rebel Moon Part 2, but I'll eventually check it out. After watching the first part, I was like, this ain't good. Negan 1 says, after 100 days of ZA, 200 million unaffected left of world population, according to one study. Yeah, I mean, that's all studies and that's all nonsense. That's all hypotheticals. That's running simulations of how it would be over and over and over again. And 200 million out of 8 billion is not a lot of people. And that's 200 million in the world. So, like, that's not a lot of people. And it would be in, like, rural areas. The cities would be the worst spot for it. Populated areas would be the worst spots for it. So, yeah, 200 million uninfected. But then you would eventually die from starvation or hunger or contaminated water or sickness or a toothache or bacteria or a virus or whatever, you know? Like, there's all these different things that you would probably cut that in half in, you know. So, again, 100 days. That's why my story is called 100 Days. In 100 days. So part 1, part 2, and part 3. So in 100 days is kind of the story of a lot of people, a lot of like research or simulations of things. They put that as their in 100 days. So if it depends on the months that it starts, but let's just say average 30 days per month. 30, 60, 90. So that's 3 months. Where would the world be in 3 months? Not in a good place, that's for sure. So it's definitely some things that it's good to talk about, and it's just putting a little more idea. I mean, I don't ever think there's going to be a zombie apocalypse. Some people believe that. Some people are like, I'm watching The Walking Dead because this could happen. This could happen. I think there was the pandemic, the COVID virus pandemic, whether you believe it or not, but it just changed the world. And that's crazy. It feels like it was yesterday, but it also was like 4 years ago. And that changed things. That changed the world. That changed that. So will we have something again? I don't know. I mean, every year it sounds like there's always some sort of this with this virus or this sickness or this infection or this thing there too. If it's not some sort of war, it's some sort of conflict or some sort of infection or some sort of virus or some sort of global, the area specific thing, not like global, but, we'll have to see. There was the Spanish flu in 1919 and then in 2019, 100 years later. So, we'll have to see in 2119, what will the world be like then? I mean, I don't know if any of us will be around to see it, and I doubt it. But, there's always going to be something trying to take out humanity or hurt people at some point, I'm guessing. But we are resilient organisms. Evolution, whether you believe it or not, is important. And that's why we have an immune system. And that's why we have the body to fight off stuff, homeostasis, the body to regulate itself, to work on, staying alive, keeping our blood pumping to our vital organs and keeping us alive as an organism. And it's something that is dramatized in shows and movies and everything there too. And the way we're going, it kind of feels like art imitates life and life imitates art now. And we live in a world where people are posting things and having images and having videos and having stuff there, and we don't know what to believe anymore. Back in the day when it was on the news, when it was on the stuff, we don't know like where it was going, but it was kind of thought to be true. And now people are posting stuff on social, like people don't even have and watch regular news anymore. A big chunk of people that I know, and there too, that aren't watching regular news on television. They watch their stuff on social media, or not at all. And it's crazy to think that people are getting information on, X or social media of some sort here and there, and you can get good stuff. I love, during the week, I love to watch the show 60 Minutes, and on YouTube, it's great if you watch it because you can watch 60 minutes, the different clips of the show that airs on Sunday. So like if I missed it on Sunday, which I don't really watch it on Sundays anymore because I watch it on the clips and the parts during the week. Or I watch Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or this and that or different interviews and different stuff at work, my lunch break on YouTube. And it's great because you can watch the same thing, but it's kind of only 15 minutes. You're not having to watch an hour-long program, all the commercials, all the nonsense. And that's, awesome. I kind of feel bad for the people who only know streaming and high-speed internet because, they don't know how awesome it is today. They don't know how great it is today. They don't know how going on Netflix and having all your shows up there and watching them and going to stream it and having all the episodes there, you can knock it out in a weekend. They don't know what it's like. I mean, they do now somewhat because more and more streaming stuff is posting things every week, like X-Men 97 or different shows are posting stuff every week. So it kind of feels that way, but that's the way it was. And you can't just go watch it whenever you wanted. You had to watch it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, whatever you were watching the show. Come on. You had to record it by a tape. You can't record it on the DVR. You can watch it on demand. And that's amazing to be able to watch a show whenever you want. And a lot of streaming stuff has previous shows. I mean, like right now, we're still watching Everybody Loves Raymond. We're on like season 7. I think there's 9 seasons. And I never watched it all when it was on the TV. And that's pretty cool to be able to do that now. But I value that because having to watch the shows back in the day, you value this there too. If you grew up, if you're 10 years old right now and you have a tablet and streaming and high-speed internet and you're watching all this crap, you don't know how good that is, how awesome that is, you know? Or maybe you do. I don't know. But, you know, it just puts things in perspective when you know what it is too. Yeah, Negan 1 says, I just got rid of cable after 24 years, internet-only streaming. Exactly. I don't have a cable box. We have internet-only and streaming services. And, you know, hopefully eventually more and more people will have bundles and stuff to there because it gets kind of crazy if you have a Netflix and Amazon and Disney and Hulu and whatever else, you know, like HBO Max or whatever it is. It's just crazy, you know? Yeah. Our parents said that about us. You don't know how good you got it. You know that ice box you got with the ice cube? Woo! Like, yeah. If you have someone who's like 102 years old right now, they don't care about streaming and all that crap anyway. But, you know, the things that are there, it's just greatly different now too. Like so many advances are in my years, in my generation, have been come along. But like, yeah, it was amazing when you had a TV at home or you had black and white TV and then you had a color TV or you had a microwave. Woo! You know, like, yeah, those are great advances, right? But there's all these things now that's a given. Like the microwave hasn't changed in like 40 years. Like it's been the same thing, right? Like, or has it? I don't know. Microwaves, ovens, you can have the convection oven. You have different things now. You can cook a little faster, whatever, and they have little bells and whistles on, you know, refrigerators and dishwashers and washer and dryers. But it's basically the same. And some of those things suck. Like some of the things are terrible. Like the everything with the diagnostics and the motherboards and the CPUs and electronic stuff. It just ain't as good, you know. Tim says, I remember when TV went color. Now that's crazy. That's crazy, Tim. See, like that would be me. I knew when internet went high speed. There was no dial-up anymore. Like I remember having the dial-up and having to have a separate phone line to have that because if you were online and someone called, it would kick you off. And AOL was the thing, and now it's just crazy. Remember that? 62. So when was that, Tim? Right. So you're 20 years older than me. And when was that happened? Like were you like, I don't know, was that 50 years ago? That TV went color? You know? And then it was like standard definition to high definition to 4K to whatever they're gonna do, whatever number and letter they're gonna put in there or letters they're gonna make it. And then eventually, because you can get a TV now for pretty cheap, a high definition TV, a smart TV for pretty cheap, you know. Late 60s, early 70s, yeah. So yeah. Yeah, so it was like 50 years ago then. So like, say it was like easy math is 1974. It's 50 years ago. Yeah, 60. So like, or say 64, you know, 80 years ago. Or sorry, 60 years ago, which is crazy. And so like, it's just kind of cool to see the progression of stuff. And I just value things more. Like if you knew what it was, you know how hard it is, you know? So 64. So like, yeah, so 60 years ago, it's color. That's crazy. And so, you know, again, it's the same thing when stuff jumped from standard definition to high definition. And now we don't even really collect DVDs. Remember, that was a big thing. I was talking to my wife about that yesterday. And I was like, now with streaming stuff, you don't even need a bunch of DVDs. If you want to go watch something, hopefully it's on one of your streaming services. And now there's some things that aren't on streaming services. You have to kind of find them a little bit. But you can watch a lot of things on streaming stuff that you don't need the actual physical media for. Rob K says, I still collect physical media. But like everything though, like do you collect everything physical media or like certain things? Is it DVD? Like I don't know how many people buy CDs anymore. Right? Like remember that was the thing? Or like tapes. Just stuff doesn't really make sense to have that. There's certain things that are better for digital and you know. But then they still do make DVDs and the hard case things and the Chromebooks or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is too. So, Phantom Deluxe, you're late. We only got like 5 minutes left anyway. James, I have not watched Arrow. Even though I like Steve Amell, I have not watched Arrow. Heart of Nixie says, cassette tapes are still made in Springfield, Missouri. So, like, I was thinking about it too. Like, if you have, so in a zombie apocalypse, you can hopefully get whatever you want, and there's a plethora of things like food and water and vehicles and gas and whatever. Like, hopefully you can manage stuff. Then it runs out or whatever too. But you know, you don't have power unless you do, unless there's things there too. But you know, so say you don't like. So if you start up your car and you put on the radio, there's nothing there, and you try to play music through your phone. You have to charge it. So like it's a whole big thing. I guess you have to have CDs. And I don't know how many cars, especially newer cars, have a CD player. And that was a big thing. You know, when I had my car, you had the crappy I don't even know what it's called, head unit kind of thing. And then the big thing was when I got my car was you go to Best Buy or Circuit City, you know, remember that store? Or like some other shop, and you would get a Kenwood or some sort of head unit that you would like rip that out, put in the one that fits your thing, and you have a CD player, or you can get an MP3 player and play with the bass and the treble and the things, and have, you know, put in a subwoofer or an amp or something. You know, it's like so many crazy things too. So Negan one says newer cars are eliminating AM radio. That's crazy. I mean, I don't use AM radio. I just use FM. But Phantom Deluxe, do you want Q&A? Do you want the Walking Dead universe to end, or do you like that it's continued through more and more spin-offs and stuff? I want an ending. I want a Radio Shack. Yeah, I want a legit ending. Yeah, Kenwood or Pioneer, right? You know, exactly. That was it, man. That was back in the day. You know, it takes me back. You know, I had my first car was a Mazda MX-6, 6-cylinder, front-wheel drive. I think it was pretty fast for what it was. It was small, lightweight. Put in a K&N air filter. I'm pretty sure my head unit was a Kenwood. Maybe Pioneer, I can't remember. But you have to have some sort of emergency stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, Negan one. You have to have AM, but I guess you could do FM broadcasts too. But it's just all those things where, I don't know, I personally want to go back to Phantom Deluxe. I want an ending for The Walking Dead. What do you guys want? Do you guys want an ending? Or do you want to have these spin-offs and spin-offs and more spin-offs, and then eventually there's one show of The Walking Dead? Because right now we have 2 shows left. We have Dead City and the Daryl and Carol show. That's it. And then, because I always thought it was going to be the Daryl and Carol show, and they signed on for 3 seasons. So now the second season is done filming, post-production, and the word is that we're going to have season 3 filming in Spain in June with Norman Reedus, and I don't know if Carol's going to be there, but Colin Cowherd. I can't stand Colin Cowherd. He's so, like, he just repeats himself over and over again, and it's just annoying. But I want an ending, wrap it up, fin, no more, roll end credits, and we're done. I just don't need to keep it on forever. And then they can do whatever they want to do later on. But, you know, just end it. Like Breaking Bad stuff was ended. It was done. Fin, 4 or 5 seasons, whatever it was, done. And then they were like, let's do El Camino. Because I believe it was El Camino or it was Better Call Saul. I can't remember what happened first. But then it's just like boom, boom, that. And then Better Call Saul actually started getting really good when it connected with Breaking Bad. But that was kind of it. And that's done. We don't need like 5 shows. Like we don't need all these other spinoffs of the Breaking Bad. Like I don't care what Walt Jr. is doing. And I don't care what all these people are doing. And Skyler or whatever. Like I don't need to care about any of that stuff. But they ended it. And it's still good. And it doesn't hurt the show. It doesn't hurt the lore. Like eventually if Walking Dead just keeps going on forever, it's just total nonsense too. So, all right, guys, that's my time. I'll be back next Sunday. So I'll probably do one more live stream next Sunday to finish up April and then take a little break from live streams. I got some stuff coming up in May. Unless we get some major information about some stuff, and then I'll be posting videos. But right now I'm taking a break to give it a breather for a second. But once we get more information about, you know, Dead City and the Daryl Dixon show, like once we get a legit good trailer, I'll probably do a trailer breakdown of the Daryl and Carol show, the Book of Carol season 2 for Daryl Dixon. But other than that, guys, stay safe. I'll be back next Sunday. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, guys, with hard work and dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Keep working hard. No matter what it is, you can achieve it. I'll be back next Sunday, and I'll see you guys. See ya.